this morning I wrote, after reading Lord Mayor, I said, Zoom concert tonight at the original kitchen. Songs of the crescent moon to the sun, itchin' to begin. Attendees from all over, perhaps in their den, a dog named Rover. Guzzles to the greatest, tuneful hardball pitchin'. So that's the poem. I'm gonna do some guzzle hardball pitching today, if we can. Yeah. So they're fun to do. In fact, we have a few minutes. In fact, Lord Mayhair, Baba was giving me a little hint about poems this morning. It's 1955, and Nilu, they're in Satara, and Nilu is writing a poem for Baba every day, and he finds it very difficult to do. And they're very whimsical. They're madcap. And there's one that they put in Lord Mayhair this morning. And it was like, he's talking about Kumar. Kumar, Kumar, Yayar, Badar, something like that. Erich, Mala, Lala. And they're Indian words. Like, Erich likes to eat crunchy items. And Kumar likes to eat by himself or whatever. And Baba liked them. But it was hard for Nilu, a doctor, to do, apparently. So one day he's walking with Bauji, and he says to Bau, he said, I'm having a heck of a time writing a poem today. Can you help me out? So Bau, he gives Nilu some lines. And so Nilu reads those out to Baba. And Baba looks at him and he says, what are you saying? That's not you. That's not very good. What's the problem here? Who gave you these lines? And so I asked Bauji. He gave me those lines. He said, no, you write those lines. I like your lines. Hey, Bauji's no good. And so anyway, I think when I write these poems, I'm hoping Baba likes them, because I try to be a little whimsical, but I also like to just praise the heck out of our darling Mun.
We are so fortunate tonight to have Dave Miotke as our guest, our musical guest. Modestly, he has a two sentence bio. Singer, pianist, accordionist, a composer. In 1972, he wrote the music to Francis Brabazon, the lyrics, the poems to the East-West Gathering, that wonderful, so many. And he is going to sing and play songs from that work tonight, plus ghazals from In Dust I Sing, and songs from Bhau Kalchuri, and many more. Dave is so much more than these little lines. He is Mr. Baseball. I have to say that. He might get to tell a baseball story or two. He's also, now you are the weekly musician or singer, is it, for a community church? Is that right, David?
Right. It's called Plymouth United Church of Christ in Oakland. I've been there for 20 years. The first time I was ever in that church, not knowing anything about it or anything, it was a Baba meeting, actually. Henrika Shouty gave a talk in the fireside room. So there I was. And then later I learned that Ron played there and Ben Leet played there over the time. And then Peter Ravaza, he was managing Raphael Rudd's tour. And this is how it all happened. Raphael was going to give a concert there. And Peter said, go in and check the piano out. So I did. I started playing. And the minister came out and he said, who are you? Can I have your card? So that started it. And so every once in a while I'd get a call from their regular pianist, who was an excellent jazz pianist, Mark Little. But he had health problems, and he'd call me at 8 in the morning, and there I am with my sports section. He's going, Dave, this is Mark, Dave. Can you come in and take my place, Dave? So that's how it started. And now, here we are, years later. He's living in Texas playing, but he's still around. But we have a great time. They call us the Jazz and Justice Church. And believe me, I throw Baba's Arti in there. I'll throw a ghazal in there. you name it, we swing. And guess what? People show up. Even in the Zoom, we get a lot of people because they say, "Oh, this isn't the old way here. What are you doing?" And it's because for me, it's Baba. What can we say? How much do I love you? I'll tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? That's a Baba song. So, anyway, in fact, just the other day, I do a jazz tune at the very end of each service. And we're Zooming these days because we tried to go in once, and then this Delta thing came up, so we're waiting to go in again. But I like being in Zoom because look, it's just like us. We're everywhere, right? We've got people at Plymouth. They're from Germany and France and you name it. And so I the other day, I'm going to open with this before I get to the East-West Gathering, because the minister, lovely person, she says, "Dave, what are you going to do for us today?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to do a song," because Alan Talbot, I think it was you, Alan, you sent me, you sent me an article by Terry Teachout where he was talking about Nelson Riddle's influence on the great late recordings of Frank Sinatra. And I worked with Nelson Riddle once. I had the pleasure of being in a big band that he led, and we did his original composition. He was a great guy. So I looked up one of the great recordings of all time is Nelson Riddle's arrangement of "I've Got You Under My Skin" by Cole Porter. And this reminds me of the fact that in this 1935 Cole Porter musical movie starring Eleanor Powell and Jimmy Stewart, there's a woman named Virginia Bruce who met Baba. In those shots with Tallulah Bankhead and all these. Virginia Bruce is one of the stars who's with Baba, having her picture taken with him, and she plays the diva of the piece, who's going to be replaced eventually by Eleanor Powell. She's a little temperamental, she's an actress. So anyway, she introduces "I've Got You Under My Skin" because she's enamored with Jimmy Stewart, and she sings it as a ballad. Beautifully done. And I'm thinking, hey, Baba, Baba met her. She met Baba. And so I did two choruses. I did the first chorus like Virginia Bruce in that tempo, and then I kicked it in for the swinging Nelson Riddle arrangement. So I'm going to open with that because it's so much fun. Oh, and there's a 2-year-old kid who's with his parents viewing, and he loves this stuff I do. He goes crazy for it. And so he's jumping around. "I've got you under my skin." I love it. Thank you, Baba. Okay, here we go. Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me, so deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin, and I've tried hard not to give in. I said to myself this affair never would go so well. Why should I try to resist when, darling, I know so well I've got you under my skin. I've sacrificed anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of the warning voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality. Wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. I've got you under my skin. Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've tried hard not to give in. I've said to myself this affair never would go so well. But why should I try to resist when, darling, I know so well? Got you under my skin. Yet I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near. In spite of that warning voice, comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, ain't no chance to win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. And each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skin. Thank you. Cole Porter, 1935. I worked a job just a couple of weeks ago. Work is starting to come in again. We wear masks a lot, but it was at the Francis Ford Coppola house up in Rutherford, California, adjacent to his Inglenook winery. And he has a great ear for lyrics. He prides himself on that. And he comes from such a musical family. And so he said to everybody, this is pretty funny. It's like a dinner for 12 in this 1880s dining room. Amazing. And he said, okay, he said, anything from the 20s, 30s, 40s, up to Sondheim. I don't do anything beyond Sondheim. Just give me a request. Any musical, I don't care. I know it. I know the lyrics. So one of these bright bulbs at the table says, and this is not a young person either, you know, maybe, I don't know how old they were, but he said, okay, can you sing the theme from the Andy Griffith Show? That's not a musical. What do you... I want a musical. Give me a musical. So this woman who was sitting close to my piano, she said, do you know the movie Mr. Holland's Opus? There's a song from a musical in it. Do you know that? He goes, I don't know that. I want a musical. So I said to him, Francis, I said, do you know the musical Jubilee, 1935? He said, no, I don't. You're stumping me. And I said, well, it's Cole Porter. And he asked me for Cole Porter, so he loves Cole Porter. And so so I told him, I said, well, the musical only ran a couple hundred performances because it was beset by all these problems. And, you know, it was rough going. Cole, he did the worst thing. He invested in his own play, which is The Kiss of Death. But I said, but there's one thing. Begin the Beguine came from that musical. Oh, good, you know. So we had a great repartee there. He came up, and I accompanied him on Cole Porter, I Get a Kick Out of You, and You're the Top. He had been drinking wine a little, so he didn't have 100% recall, but he was close enough. But that's the kind of job I really like, you know. So, anyway. Oh, and I also threw in Baba's Arti during the... They wanted me to play Debussy, Chopin, and I played some Bach. I played this and that. And, you know, the Arti fits right in. Oh, and I did Bujave, too. I did Baba's Gujarati Arti. And they're eating and talking. They're hearing Baba. Jai Baba. So now, finally, let's go back to 1972. Baba came my way in his name and being 1971. My mind is going, what? What? And Baba's going, chum, chum. And then somebody gave me a copy of the East-West Gathering. And I'm in Chicago thinking of going for a doctorate in piano. And I've got Beethoven's Hammer Clavier Sonata, which I had been silently reading in the Lagoon cabin before I came back to Chicago from the center. And I'm working on that triple fugue, and it's my Waterloo. I can't. My accordionist left hand. I can do Hindemith, I can do Bach, but this one, I surrender. Meanwhile, there's this little book on the side. I need a break. I open it up. Oh, look at this. And here it is. The ocean. In the depths of the ocean is a pearl. Will you bold swimmer bring it in your hand? It is yours by right of heritage, the pearl of kingship over all the land. Do you remember? Do you understand? The ocean, level and unending, the wave curls up, threatening, extending. Before the wave, the swirl of bubbles, and bubbles is but toils and troubles. The drop back towards the ocean yearns. Its rainbow is its silent cry, a seven-tone flame in which it burns, and burning, singing longs to die. The wave is ocean's wind out shaking, galactic drops each other aching. The aching thrives on toils and troubles. That's why the drops dress up as bubbles. The drop back towards the ocean yearns. Its rainbow is its silent cry, a seven-tone flame in which it burns, and burning, singing, learns to die. The ocean's heart of comprehending reckons the time of drops back blending into itself, drops minus bubbles. The end at last of toils and troubles. The drop back towards the ocean yearned. Its rainbow was its silent cry, a seven-tone flame in which it burned, and burning, singing, learn to die.
hard to keep quiet. Everybody's cheering.
Oh, I can see it. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So the next 2 weeks, in the heat of the Chicago summer, no air conditioning, as I recall. These songs came out, and the Beethoven took a back seat. I love Beethoven so much. I remember playing his Opus 110, which is right after the Hammered Clavier, and it's got a fugue too, but it's a piece of cake compared to that one. In fact, when I was in Australia with Phyllis Frederick and Ursula Reinhardt, and we were talking with Francis, and I told him the story about the Hammered Clavier Sonata and the East-West Gathering, and he went to me, he went, and I go, Francis, what are you singing? He says, I'm singing the Hammered Clavier Sonata, you idiot. I said, oh, Francis, but you're in the wrong key. And he laughed. So at least I had a comeback for her. Amazing. Amazing, huh? Okay, so Baba has a song that Francis writes. It's Baba singing here about obeying him, asking him for nothing, asking him to be brave and accept yourself as but one drop of my ocean spray fling. Obey me and ask me for nothing. To ask is to make me your plaything. Be brave and accept yourself as but one drop of my ocean spray fling. Stop craving now for so and so thing. Just leave it to me, and all day sing my name, and with brave heart accept your dropness of my ocean spray fling. Mark how the bright stars at night low swing on their way up to man, thus obeying the word of my love. For they too are all drops of my ocean spray fling. I speak my fair words for your knowing. Drop lover of mine, either way sing, so that you yourself one day will become the ocean. And it's spray flame. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jai Baba, Jai Baba. And there's these other songs, like, now the next song here, the Ocean actually is about the fourth song in. Before that are a bunch of folk songs, recognizable folk songs. Let's see, what is it? Oh, Patty dear, did you hear the news that's going round? So I said, well, that's already written. I'm not going to rewrite that one. And when a body meets a body coming through, I can't rewrite that. That's obvious. But luckily for me, the Ocean, the Ocean Francis wrote songs, melodies to all these songs. I couldn't figure that one out, so I wrote my own melody. And Obey Me, the one I just did, I think it's like a Mexican folk song or something. Rainey Eastman Gannett, she knows all of these things. Obey me and ask me for no thing. So luckily I didn't know that. And the next one is, do you ken the call at the break of day? In your young, young heart so strong and gay, it is Baba calling, don't ye gley, for I'm off for hunting this morning. Great. Thank you, Francis. Didn't have to work at that. Oh, and the next one, though, this is obvious, an obvious song, too, but I love singing this, and this was Fredella's favorite of all the songs in the book. And it's to the melody of Danny Boy, or the Londonderry Air. And so when we recorded it, the Baba group, the Mayhair Players in Chicago, we recorded the album in, I think it was early December of '72. Fredella, who financed the recording, he said, why didn't you put Dawn Light Breaks in there? And we said, well, it's not an original song and it's one album, so we only had time for the original stuff. So later on, I did a double album, and Jim, I see Jim Myers here. Jim did this beautiful calligraphy kind of album cover. It was a fold out, 2 albums. So Dawn Light Breaks is on there, and anyway, I love doing this song. And Baba gives you this gift. It's not like you just wrote the song in '72 and that was it. Now I can just sing it. No. These songs they're always for you to drink in every time. The dawn light breaks against my grief of stubborn days. You think I knew that and what that meant to me? Back in '72, I said, oh, that's heavy duty, But now I'm singing it, and I'm older now. And one time in Chicago, it was through my cousin. I was going through my divorce. I'm back in Chicago briefly. And I got this gig at a nice restaurant through my cousin Cherie. And I'm sitting there at the piano bar singing songs for people. They love it. And there was this guy at the bar, and he'd been drinking. He was, he was not, it wasn't his first drink, I don't think. But he asked me for Danny Boy. And in my state, I did Francis's version. I didn't do Danny Boy at all. I did this one that I'm going to do. And at the end of it, he was crying. Was it the booze or Baba and Francis? I don't care. He liked it. I liked it. Here we go. The dawn light breaks against my grief of stubborn days. The world away, each thing to sing your praise, and I alone stir not as though it still were night, as a dull stone, though sunshine gives no light. All things reflect your face so fair, and each that sings, you of yourself are aware. But though I see your winning beauty everywhere, unless you give me love, what is all this to me? The dawn light sings up from the wells of lovers' eyes, and gladness springs in wild new melodies, and I alone remain unmoved by all around, as a dull stone, though struck gives out no sound. Mayhem, all forms your lovely image bear, and all voices your perfect truth declare. But though I see your winning beauty everywhere, unless you give me love, what is all this to me? The dawnlight blooms within each heart and nightingales. Their songs resume which tell of sweet, sad tales. And I alone, hidden in darkest night, remain as a ghost stone, though broken, knows no pain. Mayhem, all things reflect your beauty rare. In every sweet song, you alone are there. Though I see your winning beauty everywhere, unless you give me love, what is all this to me? Oh, Mayhem, sweet Mayhem.
You know, I'm going to call on everybody just to unmute for a minute and give some energy back to this man. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you, Jay Baba. Thank you. I'm here with you.
Fabulous, fabulous.
I'm here with you guys. You guys are Babas. Babas. Thank you.
Hey, Baba, enjoying it so much.
Thank you. Thank you. See, I couldn't have done that song that way. What is it? 45 years ago. I did a good job, you know, but Baba says, well, you know.
You practiced.
I practiced. Baba said, get rolling. Yeah. In an apartment. In fact, you know, I got my master's in piano about that time, and my left hand is an accordion player's left hand. So in my recital, I did a Bach partita. I did the Hindemith First Piano Sonata, which was the toughest thing I ever played, note for note. You know, you got to memorize it and all that. But now I realize Baba wanted me at the age of 3 to be an accordion player, and believe me, I can bring the house down with the piano. When I heard Art Tatum, when I was the age of 12 or 13, and I heard Art Tatum play one night on the radio, my mom saying, "Get to bed." And I said, "I'm listening to something." And it was a half hour of straight Art Tatum, and I really thought, I either quit now or I really get practicing. I mean, you know, he's the champ. He's the champ. I'd say Pat Waller is up there and a lot of others, but man. But you know what? You keep going, and Baba's with you, always. No matter what you're doing, he's with us. And so here, it's another song here about removing the veils. Baba's removing the veils. Oh, God.
Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody and unmute you, Dave, and we can do this again. This is wonderful.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so right after that Dawnlight, there's.
Oh, sorry. Wait. Oh. Dave, you have to click you have to unmute.
Sorry. Yeah, now I'm okay. Now I'm good. Okay. I thought I was being heard. Okay, so I'm talking about right after Dawnlight breaks, the prose here, which we would read some of when we performed this, like at Myrtle Beach, in the old meeting house, I remember. So Francis writes, "No man except for the perfect saints sees God. We live in the darkness of the sun, and even that is too bright for us face to face." So there's 3 more paragraphs, but I'll go down to the punchline here. So God-man Meher Baba took off only one veil, and we all lost our heads. Take my eyes away. Memory be erasing. For myself I'll surely slay. By on Meher gazing. He came for our sake, you say. God with manhood blending, but I call him break of day, where night has its ending. Take my ears away, that his words are hearing. As myself I cannot stay, if his love I'm bearing. His peace and love, you say, Godhood to man bending. Dawn is fair, that it delay, or one of suns ascending. J. Baba. Now we had a wonderful soprano who went to Northwestern briefly, but her parents didn't want to afford to pay for her tuition. But she was a highly trained soprano from the little town of Mokina, Illinois. Her name was Donna Ray Sheffris, and she later called herself, Donna Ray Guth. Guth was her maiden name. And then she became Cookie Sheffris. She married a fellow named Sheffris. We called her Cookie. And you'll hear her on that CD, or LP, CD now. And she was so helpful in so many ways, training the gopis to sing something like When Israel Was a Misery. You know, she'd work with them harmonizing. I'd write out the harmonies and she'd rehearse it, you know. And so this was the first song solo that we gave her in on that album. It's called What's This Gay Scene to Me? What is this gay scene to me? I saw him there. Though you say him I see, not him I swear. What you see is your own image of him, cut in a block of stone by your eyes' whim. What is this love warm as rain on all being shed under a hill of pain? he's buried. What you see is your own begotten smile, cut as a flower of stone that blooms a while. What's this bright throng to me without his song? Though you say him I see, I say you're wrong. What you see is your own reflecting tear, cut as a precious stone. You dare to wear. Thank you. Cut as a precious stone. Now, the Maher players, all of us, we sang this one out. And I said it actually, part of the melody is London Bridge is Falling Down, because it's getting into the 8 Sorts of Lovers section, the middle section of the book. And the workers love working for their king. They're also desirers, though, but only to the extent of desiring Baba's praise. So I had to throw in London Bridge is Falling Down. Just a few notes of it. You'll hear it. But Meher Baba now is here, loud sing his praise. Heart he starteth, spirit laugheth, sing all his days. Sing his days. Now again is time of cheer and friendship's ways. His eye glances, each heart dances, footing his praise. Sing his days. His blossom words gladden ear, tongue speaks his praise. Seed he soweth, crop it groweth, green, green always. Sing his day. That's it. Short and sweet. Oh, but there was one. Thank you, Jay Baba. Right before that, I missed the first of the 8 sorts. They're the desirers, the general populace of the city of love. They just regard Baba, his beauty, as a courser along the veins of their sighs, but their surrender to his embrace would be amidst the clamor of alarm bells in their breast. They do no work. Okay. Desires. And Cookie sang this one too. Oh man, why are you singing songs at night outside my window, bidding me leave all in shameless flight and you to follow? If you love me, do not bring me sorrow, but ask my father for my hand tomorrow. Oh man, why are you lighting up my room with your bright face, wondrous as some golden lily bloom, sculptured in grace? If you love me, do not bring me sorrow, but ask my father for my hand tomorrow. Oh man, why you having won my kiss and now would leave me, saying that the dawn is here? Is this the way to grieve me? If you love me, do not bring me sorrow. But ask my father for my hand tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ah, yes. Thank you. Now, the Resigners, and at the time I was writing this, when I wrote this song, the melody, this was maybe my favorite of all. I was really so moved and touched by the lyrics. It's the Resigners. They desire nothing whatsoever from their king. When he shows them through the city, they are happy. When he remains in the palace, they are equally happy. They would go to the end of the world with their king if he asked them to. The moon was low, a silver sickle on a field of blue. When I met you and loved you with a love I could not know, would break my heart. All I knew was that I would go with you to world's end. For I was your shadow. The night was clear, your eyes were stars within 2 drops of dew. When I met you and loved you with a love that had no fear, though it broke my heart. All I knew was that I had to bear a journey to world's end. Should you choose to steer, may hear my love, may hear my love. Jai Baba. So beautiful. Now, this next one, the builders, they see the world as cities of suffering. They do not know, however, after their building, that every 7 years hordes swarm down from the Northlands, the cold Northlands, bringing a new barbaric civilization. But by then, they've moved on to a new area. And Francis, now I didn't know this, I didn't figure it out. Francis set this Meher Joy of Our Desiring to Bach's Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring, which I play, at weddings and services and all that now. But I didn't figure that out at the time. So I just said it pretty briefly. Meher, joy of our desiring, listen to our happy choiring, to our song that you're inspiring. Meher, Lord and friend, true beyond all our inquiring, loveliness beyond admiring, love that is ever untiring, our broken hearts to mend, love that is but love requiring, soul for whom we are suspiring. Hear our song before retiring, heart and See, I got back in there finally. Thank you. Oh, yes. Now, the next one is kind of ironically called the simple praisers, but I get it kind of, I think. The simple praisers suffer a continual sweet suffering. They spend their days on the seashore tracing in the sand the king's name in poems and pictures in low and high relief. It goes on. Then every morning they return to the beach because the night tide has made it shining and virgin again. And so Baba begets lovely form once more. So I got to this lyric, O glorious, eternal, ancient one. It was a really hot day that day. I remember I was sweating. And it took me all sorts of ways of figuring out what to do with these 5 great verses. And I finally decided they needed to be modulated. So I went from the key of F to G to A to B flat and C. And I finally got it going. And I did not know, thank goodness, Baba didn't want me to know that this was Francis's Australian arty. Oh, glorious, eternal, ancient one, your face is a bright, transcendental sun. Sounds great. But when I got to India, and I was at the tomb, and the women were in the tomb, 1977, December, Mommy came out, and the other women, she said, what was that? She was so happy to hear what I had just done. This is what I did back then, and I do now. Oh, glorious one. Oh, glorious, eternal, ancient one, your face is a bright, transcendental sun. Lighten this dark world and the tears I weep. My heart may hear, I give to you to keep. Creator, yet creationless you are. Truth and truth's body, divine avatar, who through compassion the free worlds maintain. Destroy this ignorance that life sustains. These 5 lights are the whirling spokes of breath of the world wheel that bears me on to death. Unless you, who are infinitely kind, break the wheel's hub, which is conditioned mind. This incense is my love, these fruits my art, which to please you I have shaped from my heart. Accept them as you would a simple flower that has no use beyond its shining hour. You are myself, I sing to you in praise, and beg your love to bear me through the days. Till you, the ever-living, perfect one, illume my darkness with your shining sun. Abatame Baba, Key J.
Okay, applause break, everybody. Ooh,
Hey, Baba.
wow.
And singing it for Baba here with you all, I tell you, what an honor and a privilege and a treat, and it's great. Thank you. Thank you, Baba. Well, from that simple praising, we go to the quiet dwellers. And this is where the gopis, Susan Lutgendorf and Cookie and Rob Tomorrow's Gail Schwartz, Rob Tomorrow's girlfriend. She had a good voice. They all sang in back on the chorus. So these quiet dwellers, they're the gentlest of all the lovers. They think of no one or nothing but the king, and they feel for him a selfless ardency coupled with an eternal gratitude. When Israel was in misery, when Lord Moses broke Egypt's yoke, he did no more than you for me, when you, Meher, in kindness spoke. Meher, you are my soul's delight, my water brooks and pastures evergreen. I feed among your lilies through the night, until the dawn, the rosy dawn is seen. When Prahlad was to pillar bound, and Lord Narayan set him free, he did no more than I have found that you, Meher, have done for me. I feed among the lilies white that borrow from your cheek their lovely sheen, while you, Meher, are ever in my side. For in this place, my heart, no foe is seen. When Abraham in fire was thrown, and the Master gave him a charm, his love was no more than you've shown, Meher, in keeping me from harm. The only sound heard through the night is that of waters, gentle murmuring keen, in counter melody to my delight, that praises your beauty and truth serene. Jai Baba. How are we doing here? Oh, we're fine. We're fine. Okay. Now the next one's a long one. This is sort of the proclaimers, so they need a long song. Any proclaimer. The king's knights who ride out alone challenge the citadels of unbelief. Their shields are love, and their lances are intellect, which the light adores, singing from their points like thousands of angels. This is called I Rose at Daybreak and Went on My Way. And, Yes, I rose at daybreak and went on my way. The dawn breeze whispered and I heard it say, Meher Baba, my Lord and friend sweet, with my perfumed breath I worship your feet. Then presently I heard as I rode along the birds singing gladness, and this was their song. Meher Baba, our dear friend and Lord, with our simple song we praise your great word. And then soon up came the great shining sun, who scatters the dream mist that night has spun. Meher Baba, he cried in huge delight, I proclaim and adore your holy might. I said, Meher Baba, and who might that be? They said the one person who embodies three: love, knowledge, power, each absolute, creation's creator, and its perfect fruit. I asked, where is he? How may he be found? To meet him I'd measure my length on the ground. He is, as I see it, the truly great king, for whom a knight bold always should ride and sing. They said he lives in the fair land called Heart, but you, for another, have kept him apart. He is the true king, for that one so bold, who with his two hands his dear feet would hold. Your lady is fairest in all the wide land. Go now to her father and seek her right hand. Make her your dear bride and loving wife, but always for God, man, ride out and seek strife. God, man, is the true man, the perfect, the pure, the light and the love that shall always endure, the same as was Jesus, the root and the bough. But Meher Baba, is he called by men now? Yes, Meher Baba, friend and brother of all, the ocean of mercy to whom all things fall, the worm in its blindness, the saint with sight sure, yourself when you sing of your lady pure. Now these sayings enthralled me and filled me with bliss, more than had ever my sweet lady's kiss. I prayed for a vision of Baba's dear feet, and in dream he told me his name to repeat. Now I repeated his name wherever I went, and then came the day when a message he sent: come, dear one to me and have my embrace, then go forth and tell men of my truth and grace. Now ever I journey the same road I came, and on my bright shield is written his name, and either you accept him, whom I proclaim, or suffer defeat and depart in shame. God, man, is the true man, the perfect, the pure, the light and the love that shall always endure, the same as was Jesus, the root and the bough. But Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, is he called by men now? Avatar Meher Baba, Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. See, I'm throwing things in I never threw in before. That's what Baba likes. He's make it new, make it today, you know.
Dave, could you begin?
I'd love to, yes. And I can go longer, but I'd love to. Yes, yes.
We have time. We have almost an hour. I'd say 45 minutes anyway. If you've got the energy.
I'm doing okay.
David, do you do Begin the Begin?
That's my favorite. My favorite song.
I-
Why don't I throw that in right now? It's a good time to do it. Always.
Hey.
Yeah. Yes. When they begin, the begin, it brings back a sound of music so tender, brings back a night of tropical splendor, brings back a memory evergreen. I'm with you once more under the stars, and down by the shore an orchestra's playing, and even the palms seem to be swaying when they begin the begin. To live it again is past all endeavor, except when that tune clutches my heart. And there we are, swearing to love forever, promising never to part. What moments divine, what rapture serene, till clouds came along to disperse the joys we had tasted. And now when I hear people curse the chance that was wasted, I know but too well what they mean. So don't let them begin the begin. Let the love that was once a fire remain an ember. Let it sleep like the dead desire. I only remember when they begin the begin. Oh yes, let them begin the begin. Make it play till the stars that were there before return above you, till you whisper to me once more, darling, I love you. We suddenly know what heaven we're in when they begin the begin. Return above you, will you whisper to me once more, darling, I love you. We suddenly know what heaven we're in when they begin the begin. When they begin the begin. Yes.
Beautiful. David, are you open to requests? You may not have finished your.
Well, that's okay. I guess I'm very open to requests. What would you like?
Can you give me wine?
Of course. Sure. Let me go in that direction. I want to just have a cue card for myself here. It's in the Bauji section, you know.
Yeah.
Getting there. Here it is. Okay. That's it. I just need the first couple lines, just like this. You know, like in an opera. I realized this when I was in the band of Alban Berg's Wojciech at the Lyric Opera. It's 12-tone music. And all hell's breaking loose. It's the murder scene on the stage of the Lyric Opera. and there's this little box sticking out of the footlights with a little man with an Italian accent. Even though I think they were singing in German, but it didn't matter. He had an Italian accent, and he's going before the line you're supposed to sing. He goes, and I can hear him, you know, and he, it was so entertaining. And then they wheeled us off, and I took my lederhosen off, and that was the end of that one. So anyway.
Was he feeding the line to the singer? Is that
Well,
what-
yeah. You never realize this, but there's a lot of lines to remember, right? So you got to keep going. So there's a very important person. He probably has a title, the Spieler. I don't know, somebody who gives out the lines. Yeah. But anyway, here's a song that is recorded on In Dust I Sing. I put that on along with Francis's songs. And then there's a couple of, actually the engineer, he knew about what I was doing. Rainey had recorded with him before, so he knew all about Francis a bit. And so he asked me to do a couple of East-West Gathering songs on that CD, and then I put on this song, Give Me Wine, Give Me Wine, Give Me Mayhair Silently. Give me wine, give me wine, give me mayhair silently. Give me only a cup of wine, I am waiting patiently. Wine is there in your silence. Silence is your wine shop. Let me drink as much as I can. Help me and don't you stop. You are sake and wine shop. Let me drink contentedly. Give me wine, give me wine. Give me mayhair silently. Give me only a cup of wine. I am waiting patiently. You are wine itself, darling. Your glance is intoxication. You are wine itself, darling. Your glance is intoxication. Your beauty is in your simplicity. You are matchless, ancient one. Give me wine, give me wine. Give me mayhair silently. Give me only a cup of wine. I am waiting patiently. A drop of wine made me forget creed and custom and religion. Diversity I have forgotten. I am now in the region like my beauty in every life. Everyone is so lovely. Beauty in every life. Everyone is so lovely. So patiently. Give me only a cup of wine. I am waiting patiently. So long as eyes are closed fully, ocean is also a drop. Soon as eyes are opened, drop is ocean at its top. Every drop has infinite ocean. It must know it consciously. Give me wine, give me wine, give me mayhem silently. Give me only a cup of wine. I am waiting patiently. I am waiting patiently. Give me wine, give me wine, give me wine. Oh, baby, I am waiting patiently. May I bubble? Thank you. Jai Baba. Thank you. You see, what you're hearing, there's in this case, there's certain themes which remain in the song, but I'm improvising. The last, for 20 years now, I've been accompanying a class of wonderful acting singers. It's called Acting for Singers, and what we emphasize is don't park and bark. And I think Baba, when some singers would come to Merazad or wherever, and Baba would look over at the women. Mani spoke of this, and if they weren't very good, he had a little signal. They'd get it, And I bet what he would agree on was they were parking and barking. They were going through the motions. You can't do that. For whatever state you're in, give your best, and don't park and bark. And the people who don't park and bark are the great singers, Maria Callas, Judy Garland, Ella Fitzgerald, on and on, Sinatra, all these people, they would never, it would gall them to mail it in. And I'm trying to just do that myself and humbly give you something. So thank you for that great guzzle of Bhauji's. I got it in the mail one night. We were coming back from. No, Bhauji gave me that one in India, but there's a couple others here that I got in the mail from him when we were living in Walnut Creek. And anyway, any more requests? Anything?
Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay.
Oh. Maybe it's not appropriate. I don't know. I've always.
Oh, you should have seen the women up on the porch when I did this for them. They loved it, and I'm going to find it here because there's 3 verses, and I hope I have it. But otherwise, I'll just have to wing it, won't I? Okay. Well, here's one of the Noel Coward ones. Don't put your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Worthington. Monty loved that one. And Nina from Argentina. Oh, here it is. See, I was getting close, and here we are. I just need a couple of cues here. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Okay. Alan and Karen, I remember doing this song at your house when your kids were all tiny tots, and they didn't know where Rangoon was or anything.
Yes.
And they just started hopping around, dancing all over the place because it was that kind of song. In tropical climes there are certain times a day when all the citizens retire to tear their clothes off and perspire. But one of those rules the greatest fools obey, because the sun is much too sultry and one must avoid the ultraviolet ray. Oh, papa laka, papa laka, papa laka, boo, papa laka, papa laka, papa laka, boo, digga 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 doo, digga 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 doo. The natives grieve when the white men leave their huts, because they're obviously, definitely nuts. Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. The Japanese don't care to, the Chinese wouldn't dare to. Hindus and Argentines sleep firmly from 12 to 1, but Englishmen detest a siesta. In the Philippines there are lovely screens to protect you from the glare. In the Malay states there are hats like plates with the Britishers won't wear. At 12 noon the natives swoon, no for the work is done, but mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. It's such a surprise for the eastern eyes to see that though the English are effete, they're quite impervious to heat. When the white men ride, every native hides with glee, because the simple creatures hope he will impale his solar topi on a tree. Oh, bully, 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 ba, bully, 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 ba, obalaga, 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 ha, obalaga, 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 ha. It seems such a shame when the English claim the earth that they give rise to such hilarity and mirth. The mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. The toughest Burmese bandit can never understand it. In Rangoon, the heat of noon is just what the natives shun. They put their scotch right down and lie down. In the jungle town where the sun beats down to the rage of man or beast, the English garb and the English sop, and it gets a bit more creased. In Bangkok, at 12 o'clock, they foam at the mouth and run. The mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. Yes, mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. The smallest Malay rabbit deplores this stupid habit. In Hong Kong, they strike a gong and fire off a noonday gun to reprimand each inmate who's in late. In the mangrove swamps where the python romps, there's peace from 12 to 2. Even cataboos lie around and snooze when there's nothing else to do. In Bengal, to move at all is seldom if ever done. But mad dogs and Englishmen, yes, mad dogs and Englishmen, the mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. Is that great?
Bravo.
What writing? Yes. Noel Coward wrote that. He was inspired because he was in a theater troupe, and they were somewhere like in Rangoon or something, and it all came before him. You know, all those lines. He said, "It's right before my eyes. I can write this out in an hour or less." Yes, yes. So, should I go back to East West, or would you like to hear other songs like that? I thought of like Irving Berlin. How much do I love you? How deep is the ocean? That was Phyllis Frederick's song. Baba had instructions that no one was to communicate with him. Don't write a letter. Don't phone. Don't wire. Don't do anything like that. I'm in seclusion. I'm in seclusion. But she thought, well, he didn't say I couldn't send a recording. So she went, probably with Adele, into one of those booths, you know, that you put in a quarter and you record yourself. And she sang "How Deep Is the Ocean," and he sang it to sent it to Baba. And he said, "Yes, you got around it." I loved it.
Now you've got to sing it.
Yeah, that's a great song. Yeah. How much do I love you? I will tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? How many times a day do I think of you? How many roses are sprinkled with dew. How far would I travel to be where you are? How far is that journey from here to a star? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? How far would I travel just to be where you are? How far is that journey from here to a star? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky?
Ooh. You know, our usual rule here is that we raise hands, but this has been so spontaneous and wonderful. We could try just unmuting, and then if it gets chaotic, we'll go back to raising
Okay.
hands.
Okay.
Are you open to requests, or you got?
Oh yeah, let's keep them going. And then I hope this isn't the last time I'll be asked
Oh, no.
to perform. So
Please.
we'll keep going.
Oh no. Go ahead.
David, there's one of Francis Brabazon's songs where at the end it's about shattered glass.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you know what that one is?
Well, that's one of the ghazals from In Dust I Sing. Do you remember the first line? Because that's how you look them up.
Oh gosh, that's all right. Don't worry, I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever set that, and but I love improvising these things. They're just the best for that
Yes,
reason. Well, let me.
no worries.
Yeah, I if I'd lived that long, I'd love to record all of them. And then I've got a few of my own, but whatever. These are just the best. Oh, here's one. I call this is sort of a blues guzzle. Number 7. Rainey and I look at each other when we've performed together or talk about it and go, "Oh, number 7. Oh, yes. Number 35. Oh." It's like, what a year that was, It's just, give me a, what a guzzle, yeah. Oh, the world loves a lover. From their lips, that song is sung. Youth is the time of greenness, but age should gild a man's tongue. What then shall be said of us fellows that have no shame? And without youth or wisdom, take the beloved's name. surely a scurvy crew. Mag's man doing Lover's Lane, with insult talk of love. Poor Mitch, for coin gain. A pickaxe for each, and a stretching rod for graveling. The wine to others than the service of smooth traveling. Yes, do not let God know. Lest he weep, and a miracle is seen of steel taking root, and a stretch of road turning green. For although our hearts are black with every neighborable sin, though our hearts are black with every neighborable sin, the Master in his mercy, the Master in his mercy, the Master in his mercy opened the door, he took us in. Streamland, eager for the abyss, is the sun's delight. Streamland, eager for the abyss, is the sun's delight. Waters, in still waters, in still waters, appears the lily's gold, wrapped in white. All the world loves a lover. From his lips, the song is Baba's song is song.
Wow. Boy, what do your neighbors say?
Well, we have two very quiet neighbors upstairs. They're almost reclusive, and I'll find out. They might erupt. I don't know.
It plugs in.
Thank you for that.
When Dawn tended her rose garden, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Do you happen to know the number? I'll look it up otherwise. When Dawn. It's When Dawn, right? Yeah. When Dawn tended her rose garden. There it is. 98. Yeah. Okay. Rainey does this, and it might be either Sam Saunders' melody or hers or Francis's. I don't know, but it's great. A lot of times in the morning I just sit and read these ghazals. Just read them. They are beyond anything. They're so wonderful. Oh yes. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what I'll do with it. When dawn tended her rose garden, in the eastern sky, I passed along Love Street, and heard a distraught one sigh. Although your home is in this street, I am far from your door. For my tears have become an ocean. It has no shore. Strange. What strange tune is this, beloved? In what mode and mood? It brings the lover to you and puts between a flood the moon rose and shone over the wine cups lit. The moon rose and shone over the wine cups lit. And oh God, I was adrift like a derelict ship. Then the wind blew your hair across the sky, and black night fell on the toast waters and covered the moon from sight. What I thought was a star what I I thought was a star came out, but it was your tear. Which hung and burned through the night, and took away all fear. I would leave this raft and swim back to you, but alas, now that daylight has come, the waters are broken glass.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, David. David, I don't want you to overtire yourself. You have to save some energy. We're getting you back.
Yeah.
He's
I just took a little swig of, how do you say this thing? LaCroix? LaCroix. We say LaCroix here.
Hey, Dave, maybe that's enough. One more song.
One more? Okay.
Yeah, because we don't want your heart.
Well, my heart is fine. This new valve is,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Well,
better.
You got my thought.
But it's more my my vocal cords. I still got that too. They're okay. They're fine.
We
But
did.
I agree. It's time for a break.
More than fine.
We did have a request for a show tune.
Mm.
Put it out there. Use your judgment. But
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
we do want you back.
Show tune.
No question.
The Andy Griffith theme. No.
Oh, baby. Thank
It's even there's no lyrics. It's just whistling. You remember when Opie and Andy come down the path with the fishing pole? Yeah. Okay. Let me think of a good one. Well, here's a song that did not win the Oscar in the early 30s from this great musical, the Gay Divorcee, starring Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Instead, the Continental won that year because it's like a 16-minute long Busby Berkeley extravaganza. And it's a great song, but that's it. 16 more minutes of that. And it's great. But Irving Berlin sent a letter to Cole after the Oscars and all that, and he said, Cole, we know what the greatest song of the year was, and it's yours. And it's this fantastic scene where it's just Fred and Ginger, who was a great actress and great dancer and a wonderful singer, great she had it all. And she's looking at him, and you talk about that kismet right there, where he, and Fred wasn't like a Caruso at all. He's just night and day. That's the song, but he sings it with heart. And she looks at him like, I'm getting it. Yeah. So that's the one I'll do. Like the beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom when the jungle shadows fall, like the tick, tick, tock of the stately clock as it stands against the wall, like the drip, drip, drip of the raindrops when the summer shower is through. So a voice within me keeps repeating, you. Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day, day and night, why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, night and day, under the hide of me, there's an oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you've let me spend my life making love to you, day and night, night and day. Night and day, under the hide of me, there's an oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't ever be through till you've let me spend my life making love to you, day and night, night and day, night and day.
Woo! All right, everybody. You wanna
Oh,
go ahead. Unmute.
Guitar, Miotke.
Fabulous.
Oh, bravo.
Okay. Now we can say Avatar. Mr.
Baba.
Baba.
Yay.
Avatar. Mayor Baba.
Baba.
Yay! Avatar. Mayor Baba.
Yay.
DJ.
Jay Baba.
You rock the house, David. You rock the house.
Thank you.
We're still not on. Jeff, we're back on.
Thank you, Baba.
David, could you
Thank you
begin
so
again?
much.